Guys, I think this might be the summer slide of 2023. Do you know what's actually quite mad? My slides are probably my most worn item, my most worn belonging that I own. Out of all my shoes and trainers, the slides take the #1 spot. In summer, I am wearing them, living and breathing them 24/7. Especially when you go on holiday, I feel like they are literally the pinnacle of every single outfit. So for me, I'm hugely invested in slides and always on the lookout. And since the Yeezy slides have come out, I feel like I haven't really, been feeling that many because I just can't find anything that tops the Yeezy slide. However, today we have the Nike Calm slides, which have just released, and honestly they do actually give the Yeezy slides a run for their money. The first thing that I do want to mention is that these are £45, $50, okay? They're a general release, they're sitting on the Nike website and other retailers as well, so easy to get your hands on. So just bear that in mind because I really do think that these are a bargain for what you are getting. But anyway, let's crack on to the unboxing. I'm always interested in the boxes. I just feel like it's part of the whole experience, kind of what box you're getting. So this is just a standard plain cardboard box, but as you will see, it does have the Nike swoosh logo cut out. Here we have the Nike Calm slides. As I did mention before, I just picked them up directly from Nike. They were just sitting on the website. They have just come out. They did also come in a few different colors as well. I've seen a white pair, a beige color, which was absolutely beautiful, and then a light blue color. And then I did also see on Sneaker News, which is American, I did also see like this turquoisey blue. So quite a few colors to pick from. I feel like you've got a good variation and you've got the kind of standard colors that you would want to see. A lot of people, rightly so, have been comparing this to the black Yeezy slide. So this is the Onyx Yeezy slide that I've got here. I wear these 24/7. As I said, this is probably my most worn shoe, if you want to call it that, out of my whole collection. So I am obsessed with these. Although they are very, very similar, I totally get that. I don't feel like it's a, oh, Nike's copying Adidas, like they're trying to make a dupe of a Yeezy slide. I mean, at the end of the day, they are slides, so I feel like no matter what brand you are, you can't make a completely different design because you've only got so much to work with. For the Nike Calm slide, I do think that there is enough differences to, differentiate between the Yeezy slide and make it its own. But before we get into a comparison of the Nike Calm slide and the Yeezy slide, let's just take a look at this on its own. So on this Nike slide, the upper is made of black foam, which I was actually quite surprised about the softness of this foam. I wasn't expecting it to be this soft. It's very kind of similar to a Nike Benassi, and I absolutely love the comfort of those. One of the main parts about any slides is this arch roof bit here. For me, this was the main attraction of this Nike slide. It is actually really quite big in terms of the length of it. It covers quite a lot of your foot, I guess, when you put it on. The whole of the upper is one piece, so this arch isn't separated. It just merges in all together. It also has this engraved Nike swoosh, which I absolutely love. I love that it's engraved, it's subtle, but you can still see it at the same time. Then take a look into the footbed. This is actually a textured pattern, and again we have a Nike swoosh as well, kind of engraved deeper into this textured pattern. This is going to be amazing for grip. I feel like it's super, super grippy on the foot. If we do take a look under the arch, it has a Nike swoosh. It says designed in Oregon, made in Indonesia, and then it's just got the sizing of this slide. If we do take a look towards the bottom of this slide, we have a full length rubber sole. On the outsole from the side as well, it literally looks like an Air Force One, which I think is a really, really nice feature. Then if we take a look towards the bottom of the shoe, we do have some quite deep tread here, and again we have a small swoosh logo. So how does the Nike Calm slide stand up to the Yeezy slide? First of all, we're just going to talk about the design and the quality of both of these slides. For me, I'm super, super impressed with this Nike Calm slide. Personally, I absolutely love this large arch, and I feel like that's what makes it stand out and makes it kind of unique, especially when you're comparing it to the Yeezy slides. As you can see with the Yeezy slide, it's quite a small arch, and I definitely think, as well, it looks even smaller because it is thicker. Obviously, we've got this really squidgy, nice foamy Yeezy slide. However, I was, as I said, impressed with the quality of this. Even though it is thinner, it feels really, really nice and is still very, very soft. I think one of the main differences is though you have this rubber sole on the bottom, whereas the Yeezy slide is literally all foam. However, I feel like when you put them on feet, you don't really notice too much difference. Another unique feature has definitely got to be the texture on the footbed. I do feel like this does look really different. I maybe prefer the look of the Yeezy slide because it's nice and smooth. However, I mean, it's not ugly, it's just maybe a small preference that I like, but I do feel like this is going to give you so much more extra grip compared to a Yeezy slide, and especially, you know, slides are kind of meant to be for pool slides, so I feel like if you're running around in them, these are probably safer. I do think that because this has a rubber slide, I do think that this is a more safer slide. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to care about that, but if you're not, you know, these are made for the pool. If you're by a pool and you need to run for whatever reason, I feel like these are a lot more safer than the Yeezy slides. I feel like with these, they have a really good grip, to be honest with you, but I feel like, you know, you can't beat like a solid rubber sole. I do really like the logos on this slide. For the Yeezy slide, you literally have one that is on the footbed, and obviously when you're wearing it, you can't see it at all. Whereas here, you've got one on the footbed, on the sole, of course, and then you do actually have one on the arch as well. So I feel like, you know, it looks like a Nike slide, whereas I think that's why you can get so many dupes of these as well, because there's literally no logo on them. It's just, you know, a slide. In terms of the color as well, the Yeezy slide is a bit more of a matte washed black, and the Nike slide is a real black color and also has a shine to it. The Yeezy slide is literally known for being the most comfortable slide that there is. And, you know, I fully agree with that. I definitely think that the comfort level on these are just next level. The Nike slides that I've bought previously have not lived up to that. So I feel like when I think of Nike slides, I never think of them as super comfortable. But I was so surprised when I tried these on. Here's the thing, right? These are not as squidgy as the Yeezy slide foam runners. That's why I don't think they're as comfortable. However, the foam is amazing. But the one thing that tops it for me is how easy it is to actually slide these on and off. Because it has a bigger arch, because the foam is less thick, it is so easy to put your foot in. Whereas compared to the Yeezy slide, I find that sometimes it's kind of difficult, especially, you know, if it's summer and you've got sweaty feet. I feel like putting your foot into here can sometimes be hard because it is a lot smaller, and these are definitely in my right size, okay? So that's not the problem. It's just the fact that these are tight around the arch. And what I found is on a really, really hot day, if I'm wearing these Yeezy slides for a really long period of time, they actually start to rub my feet here because they are so tight. I recently went on holiday and I took another pair that I had when they first dropped. So I've had them for a while. They're definitely worn in and they were still rubbing my feet. I have some marks on my feet where I've been wearing them just because when it's hot, I feel like here is just a problem for me. However, with these, obviously I have not worn them yet, so I can't, you know, test them out and give them a review like a year later on or whatever. But there is so much more room here. I definitely think that that is not going to happen. Just the way my foot is positioned into the slide, you will see from the try on clips. Sizing wise for the Nike Calm slides, I went for a UK 7.5. I'm usually a size 7, and to be honest with you, a UK 7 I think would actually fit. A 7.5 is just a little bit better for me because I like, you know, a little bit of extra room. And with slides, I feel like you don't have to get your perfect slide because as long as it's not too small, you know, you can rock with it. So I did go for a 7.5, and for me they fit absolutely perfectly. So I would recommend going up a 0.5 size if you did want them a little bit tighter for whatever reason, or you can only get your normal size, then also your normal size will do. So the main difference between these has got to be the pricing. Yeezy slides come in, I think about £70, $75, round about that. That's if you're lucky enough to hit them for retail, or should I say if you were lucky enough to hit them for retail. They resell for, I've seen them resell for like £100 or plus, depending on what colorway you get. So this is an expensive slide. However, I contradict myself because I would still buy another Yeezy slide for about £100 because I know how much I would wear them. I do think that is worth it if you can't get it for retail and you are really interested in getting a pair of these. I would recommend it. However, Nike Calm slides, £45, $50. To be honest with you, I do feel like this is a really, really good slide to get, and you're not going to have these issues with, you know, resellers and all of that, because I do think they will have a large stock of these. They are selling out now, but I do think, you know, Nike will restock them, replenish them frequently. And if you're comparing the price, simply the Nike Calm slide wins hands down because £45, $50, you are getting a bargain. I absolutely love these, so I do feel like they are good to have in your collection as well as a Yeezy slide. Even if you have a Yeezy slide, you're trying to get a Yeezy slide, I definitely think these are worth buying as well, especially for the price. For me, they definitely give me that, you know, edgy vibe, something a little bit different, like how the Yeezy slides do, and that is what I absolutely love. So overall, personally for me, I think this is on par with the Yeezy slide. If you are looking for a new slide, then this is the one to get. This is going to be the slide of summer 2023. If there is any other questions that you have about this slide or anything else in general, then please do leave them in the comments below. Let me know as well what you guys guys are saying about this slide, for me, it's definitely a 10/10. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I've been a bit AWOL recently. I've been on holiday and been doing exams, but I am back. So make sure you are subscribed if you are new here to stay updated with all my latest shoe reviews. Hope you guys have a blessed week and I'll see you in my next video.